Hola chicos, este es el video de esta semana. Hoy es el 4 de mayo. Es el video para la clase de Español 3 sobre el presente perfecto. This video corresponds to Descubre 2, Lección 6, Estructura 6.1, the section on the present perfect tense, and you can find the information in your textbook on página 204. I suggest that you use the time watching the video to either be taking notes, taking your own notes, or use the guided notes sheet that I've placed in your Google Classroom, the apuntes sheet that we normally would have completed in class. So, before we learn the new material today, let's review something that you learned 2 weeks ago in the Monday video 2 weeks ago. Participios pasados, past participles. We learned 2 weeks ago how to use past participles as adjectives, how to form them and how to use them as adjectives. And because we will be using past participles to form the present perfect tense, I thought it would be a good idea to take a moment to review those. So for regular verbs, we drop the AR, ER, or IR and add the past participle endings. For AR verbs, that is ado. So the past participle of levantar is levantado. For ER and IR verbs, we drop the ER or IR and add ido. Entonces, el participio pasado de comer es comido y de ir, de sufrir, es sufrido. There were also several irregular past participles that you learned 2 weeks ago, and we're not going to go over all of them today. We're going to take a look at just a couple, but if you don't remember them, it would be a good idea to go back and review those, either using the video that I sent you 2 weeks ago or doing some review on the super site. So some examples of those irregulars are hacer. El participio pasado es hecho. Decir, dicho. Abrir, abierto. And there are several more, so if you don't remember those, go back and review them because you'll be needing them for the presente perfecto. Entonces, ¿qué es el presente perfecto? What is the present perfect? Just like we would have done if we were in class, I'm going to show you a few examples, and I'm going to want you to pause the video and take a moment to see if you can make some observations and some good educated guesses about what the present perfect is and how we form it. So, 3 ejemplos. Nosotros hemos hecho gimnasia hoy. We have worked out today. ¿Has comido bien hoy? Have you eaten well today? Alicia ha conocido a su nuevo profesor. Alicia has met her new teacher. Go ahead and pause here for just a moment to reflect on those 3 sentences, make some observations, and see if you can make some predictions about the presente perfecto. When you're ready, restart the video. Okay, so let's take a look at these examples and see if you made the observations I was hoping that you would make, that I would have led you to had we been in class. So, ¿qué es el presente perfecto? We use the present perfect to talk about what someone has done or what has happened. And usually it refers to the recent past, okay? What someone has done or what has happened. We have worked out today. Have you eaten well today? It's a compound tense. What do I mean by that? That means it has 2 parts, not just one. It uses an auxiliary or helping verb. In the examples above, those are hemos, has, and a. They're forms of a verb called haber, and a past participle. In the examples above, hecho, comido, conocido. It has two parts. The other compound tense you learned in the past was the present progressive. An example of that is estoy estudiando. You learned that back in Spanish 1. It has two parts, estar, form of estar, and an ando or yendo. So, in English, we form the present perfect by using the verb to have and a past participle. For example, I have worked. In Spanish, we do the same thing. We use the form haber, which means to have, but only as an auxiliary verb. And then a participio pasado, he trabajado. Just want to take a moment to point out that although haber means to have, it's translated as to have, it means to have as an auxiliary verb, as a helping verb. So we can't use it interchangeably with tener. We use tener to talk about having something or having to do something, the uses you've learned of it before. Okay? So, haber. Let's take a look at the forms of haber. Repeat them after me. Repitan. He, has, ha. Hemos, habéis, han. Notice they all start with the silent H. There's only one accent. Where does it go? That's right, over the E in the vosotros form. One more time. He, has, ha. Hemos, habéis, han. Bueno, ¿cómo formar el presente perfecto? So how do we form the present perfect? Muy fácil. We form it just like we do in English. We use the helping verb haber más participio pasado. Por ejemplo, yo he estado a dieta por un mes. Eduardo nunca ha fumado. Just want to take a moment to point something out in this example. Eduardo has never smoked. In English, we would put the word never in between has and smoked. We can split the present perfect. In Spanish, we can't do that. The form of haber and the past participle always stay together. We don't split them. So if we use a word like nunca or siempre, it'll go before the present perfect, before the form of haber. Mis hermanos no han llevado una vida sana. The same thing happens with no, with negative sentences using the present perfect. The no goes before the form of haber because, again, we don't split up the form of haber and the past participle. ¿Te has calentado bien? And here we see it yet again. We don't split up the form of haber and the past participle. So if we have a reflexive verb like calentarse, we have to move that reflexive pronoun in front of the conjugated verb, which is us in this case, haber, the form of haber. Finally, ha habido un accidente en la carretera. If we want to say that there has been something, we would use the present perfect, of haber, because haber also happens to be the verb that I comes from. Hay dos estudiantes aquí. Okay, there is or there are. If we want to say there has been or there have been, then we use the present perfect of haber. Ha habido. Ha habido un accidente en la carretera. Okay, chicos, te toca a ti. So I want you to, somewhere on scratch paper or your apuntes, give it a try. Inténtalo. So write the present perfect of these verbs, pause the video, and then when you're done, come back to check your responses. Pause now. Ok, vámonos. Averigua tus respuestas. Yo nunca he consumido el alcohol. Tú has disfrutado de una dieta equilibrada. Clarita ha hecho ejercicios de estiramiento. Nosotros nos hemos calentado bien. Vosotros no habéis aliviado el estrés muy bien. Mis padres se han mantenido en forma. Before you sign off of this video, you might want to get a little extra value out of it and translate these sentences because they are all using your new vocabulary that you learned in last week's video. Well, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, you know how to find me. You can email me. If you have questions while you're working on the SuperSite activities, you can send me a help request in the SuperSite in the activity. And if you'd rather save questions for our Google Meet on Thursday or Friday, you can certainly do that as well. Bueno, chicos. Hasta luego. Nos vemos.